what has been the most fascinating intersection between your professional work and your experiences in traditional Buddhist practices and your long time practice? What excites you right now? There's so much science, the science of mindfulness. We have 20
Hmm.
years of studies, over 7,000 studies on the efficacy of mindfulness. What
Yeah.
what excites you?
I think right now, probably what's most exciting to me in my work is the work I do with healthcare professionals in helping them navigate work-related stressors, and just the enormity and gravity of the difficulty that they face on the job day in and day out. And that's of course only gotten more extreme and extraordinary with the onset of the pandemic. But I think that's the most exciting and challenging, because I've and it's coincided with a real for me, a real intensifying of my training and practice in yin yoga studies, and like more formal training in yin yoga studies, and basic yoga teacher training with Sarah Jane. My teacher was here, Sarah Jane. so so it's no coincidence, I'm sure, that those two are together, but it's also the case that since the beginning of the pandemic, I am just doing more of this work because there's more need and more call for it. That um, there is such profound need. Healthcare professionals face so much stress on the job, and they paradoxically, the culture in healthcare, the culture in healthcare has supported and called for healthcare professionals largely to neglect their own well-being. It's this really remarkable paradox, that's
Almost,
in
almost
some.
systemic. It's just, this is.
Yeah, yes, and that's starting to change and shift in some places, and there's definitely this awareness that there's a need for that to change, but I think there isn't yet. It's not there yet. The awareness is growing. Um,
Mhm.
the awareness is growing that the need is there. There's a lot known about what can be done and what training works and what's useful, but it's still really endemic in the culture that healthcare professionals neglect their own well-being, or it's still tacitly expected that you'll just do, and what goes first is your own. It's still like expected that you might not have time to pee, sleep, or eat.
Right.
That you might just work for 12 hours without peeing or eating. Like that's just normal in many parts of the healthcare culture, which is noteworthy.
Mhm.
So um, so there's a huge need for that to shift. But what's exciting to me is there's so much that can be taught. There's so much that can be taught because there's so much that's known about what skills are teachable and immediately useful and immediately utilizable for healthcare professionals to build resilience that they can use on the job, that they can bring to their jobs for them to feel better and do better in the workplace. So I most experience this in the peer resource groups that I lead and co-lead for healthcare professionals who are in litigation, who are um, in the aftermath of adverse events, and more recently who are working on the front lines in COVID, and wanting a place to talk about those stressors and what that's like for them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
exciting. Mm-hmm.